Welcome back to Recap Cinema. Today we will be recapping over a crime thriller movie by the name of Wild Things with a few twists you won't expect. Spoilers ahead. Sam Lombardo is the school guidance counselor at a Miami high school. He is very popular, especially with the female students. Sam has come to the main hall to talk to the students about reaching the halfway point of their senior year. The students all cheer while Sam makes his way to a chalkboard and begins to write the topic of the rest of the assembly, but as he finishes the crowd dies down. Sam introduces the students to the two guests from the Blue Bay Police Department, Detective Duquette and Detective Perez. The crowd boos as the two detectives make their way up to the podium, when suddenly a student, Suzie Toller, stands and begins to leave. As Detective Duquette begins, Suzie interrupts him by taunting and insulting him before leaving. Sam and the two detectives leave the hall, proceeding the ineffective talk with the students. They spot Suzie in the courtyard, at which point Detective Duquette reveals he had busted her on a weed charge which landed her a lengthy 6 months in a detention facility. As Perez and Duquette leave Sam to go to their car, Perez mentions how Duquette seems not to like Sam, to which he responds that he sees straight through him. As the school day comes to an end, the student sailing club arrives back at the docks. Sam runs it and is helping a student clean off the boat. The cheerleading squad is practicing near them, distracting both Sam and the student until a large yacht passes by the end of the canal. The student remarks how he wants to own a yacht like that one day, when Sam cuts in, pointing to a large sailing boat while mumbling about how it's a real boat. The student thanks Sam for helping him get into the boating club, as he couldn't afford it without his help. As they finish packing up the boat, Kelly Van Ryan steps onto the dock. With her eyes locked on Sam, she casually asks if the boating is for boys only, or if a girl can play too. Sam turns back to work on the boat, just as Kelly starts to ask him who is washing his car that weekend for the senior car wash. Sam sharply responds washing his old Jeep would be a waste of time, but after Kelly presses him he agrees to let her and a friend wash it after he takes a trip to the Glades on the weekend. Deal, Kelly responds with a smile. She goes on to ask him if she can have a lift home. Flustered, Sam encourages the other student to ride with them. Kelly is disappointed as he agrees, and she is not able to ride alone with Sam. As they pull out of the school, Kelly spots Suzie trying to start her old car, jeering at her outfit. Suzie retaliates, to which Sam sarcastically remarks how well the students get on. Kelly continues to try to flirt with Sam during the ride home, while he ignores her advances. Finally, they arrive back at Kelly's house. It's an extravagant property with a guarded front gate, many bedrooms, and a balcony. As Sam's open-top Jeep pulls into the enormous driveway, Sandra Van Ryan, Kelly's mom, opens the balcony doors wearing a bikini. She seductively asks Sam if he would like to come in for a drink, to which he quickly rejects, deliberately looking downwards away from both Kelly and Sandra. As soon as Kelly is clear of the car, Sam quickly pulls away, leaving both Kelly and Sandra looking disappointed. The week comes to a close, and Sam is out on a hovercraft in the Glades. Kelly will be over tomorrow to clean his Jeep, but Sam knows she has other intentions. Kelly and her friend, Nicole, arrive at Sam's place in the late afternoon for the senior car wash. Kelly flirtatiously greets Sam but is quickly displeased to see a woman come out from behind Sam, Barbara, his girlfriend. She asks where the hose is and leaves to wash the car. Barbara irritably asks Sam why Kelly Van Ryan is over to wash his car, to which he sheepishly replies that it's for a charitable cause. Kelly looks towards Sam as Barbara leaves, but he immediately retreats indoors. The girls playfully wash the car, soaking through their clothes. To Kelly's dismay, Sam might be the only one not interested in the provocative car wash. Sometime later, the girls are finally finished cleaning the Jeep. Sam emerges from his house, remarking how clean the car is. Kelly asks for the coupon for the car wash, which Sam goes inside to find. Kelly looks towards her friend and tells her to go, as she slips into Sam's house after him. Having found the coupon, Sam begins to make his way to the door, but is stopped by Kelly, whose wet clothing is dripping onto the floor. Sam cautiously raises the coupon while looking at Kelly, before the scene fades away. Sometime later, Kelly is seen running from Sam's house, with her shirt slightly torn. The following day, Kelly is missing from school. Sandra calls Sam to ask if he's seen her, but hears bangs outside and knows it's Kelly shooting clay pigeons as she has in the past with a bad mood. Sandra heads into the garden to ask Kelly what she's in a bad mood about this time, assuming it was a boy who broke up with her and ruined her weekend. Kelly runs inside and begins crying, at which point she tells Sandra she is sad about her father's suicide. As Sandra poorly attempts to calm Kelly down, Kelly reveals she is actually sad because Sam Lombardo had sexually assaulted her the day before. Outraged, Sandra immediately goes to the Blue Bay police. Sandra shouts at Detective Ray Duquette, remarking that this can't happen to her daughter in Blue Bay. Detective Perez tells Sandra they will need to interview Kelly. Reviewing the interview, Perez thinks Kelly may be lying about the incident after Sam rejected her advances. Duquette disagrees, and asserts he thinks Sam did it. Perez suggests a polygraph, but their boss and district attorney, Bryce Hunter, jokes requesting a polygraph on a Van Ryan is as good as handing in a 2-week notice and quitting. Later that day, Art Maddox, Sam's friend and member of the school board, approaches him with bad news. Sandra Van Ryan has called all the board members to push for his suspension, even while he didn't know about the accusation. Sam remarks he is the last person to be told, and implores Art to believe him, but at this point there is nothing Art can do and he is forced to suspend Sam from working at Blue Ridge High. Sam needs a lawyer, and the only one crazy enough in town to take on the Van Ryans is the sleazy Ken Bowden. Sam's life in Blue Bay has been completely ruined by the accusation. Barbara has broken up with him by the command of her rich lawyer father, who is representing the Van Ryans in their case against him. He has a crackpot lawyer himself, he has been fired from his job, and he was even run off the road by one of Sandra Van Ryan's many boyfriends, destroying his Jeep. Meanwhile, across town, Perez and Duquette have been called out to the Glades to question a new witness. They approach the old trailer to find Suzie Toller inside. She talks about Sam Lombardo, describing how he had offered her a lift a year earlier and something happened. Duquette brashly asks if she had been flirting with him. Disgusted and upset, Suzie turns and admits Sam sexually assaulted her too. Duquette and Perez initially have a skeptical look on their faces, but it soon turns to shock as Suzie's story sounds strikingly similar to things Kelly Van Ryan had said in the unreleased interview. Sam has now been arrested. His only hope is Ken Bowden, and with his court date set in a few days he doesn't anticipate things will go well. Ken plans to use some dirt he has on the Van Ryans to disrupt the case, but he might be the only person in town who still believes Sam didn't do it. It's court day, and Sandra Van Ryan is driven in her limo with Kelly to a media circus waiting outside the court. The case has made the local news, and reporters all want an angle on the story. Court is in session, and the room falls silent as Sam enters the courtroom. Kelly Van Ryan is the first person to go onto the stand. The state lawyer, who is trying to get a long conviction on Sam, carefully asks her about what happened. Her answers shock the court and jury. Suzie Toller is next on the stand. She sits with her feet up on the stand. Ken begins to question her, revealing that around the same time of her assault, she had called Mr. Lombardo for help after being arrested. However, some months later, she was arrested a second time, but still called Sam for help. Suzie scoffs, remarking so what, but Ken presses on, telling the court Sam didn't show up the second time, which lead to Suzie's 6-month detention center stay. Could Suzie have made her story up to get revenge on Sam? Suzie looks up and with a raised voice, tells Ken she isn't lying. Ken smiles, walks to the witness stand and speaks softly, asking Suzie if she likes staying in the detention facility as she is now under oath and anything she is lying about will result in serious time. The court falls completely silent, waiting for a response from Suzie. Thanks for watching. Part 2 is up already, and you can find it on the end card or in the description. Like and subscribe for more. Comment below which movies you'd like recapped in the next video.